Okay, this is going to be the SMCI breakdown. I don't like SMCI as much as I did prior on the short term. However, on the long term, I absolutely love this name. I just don't think it's ready yet. So I'm going to briefly talk about the financials quick, and then we'll get into why I like it on the technicals. But just financial side, I'm usually looking for EPS and revenue growth. Those are the two main indicators on Can Slim, which is the mnemonic I use, at least from the book I read. But revenue and EPS growth for SMCI are really good on the spreadsheet that I use to track some of these things. Here's the mnemonic, what I'm referencing here. But when we look at SMCI, really good EPS growth. I mean, it's almost what 5x or 10x 0.2 to 2 in 5 years, so 10x EPS growth, revenue growth. I think it's at like 3,300, whatever this is denoted in millions. So I think that'd be billions, but 3.3 billion. I might be saying that wrong, but 3,300 all the way to like almost 15 right there. So it's almost 5x growth in 5 years for revenue for SMCI. So those are the backdrop to why I really like it on the financial side. Is there anything else on the financials I wanted to talk about? Decent retained earnings growth. No, I don't think there was anything else I wanted to talk about. Oh, I did know the gross profit for this year sucked. I don't know what that was, or what was in the cost of revenue for this year, but that's a substantial increase. So that was the only negative I had seen. Anyway, yeah, cost of revenue, gross profit was absolutely horrendous. Yet it doubled in revenue. Yet, I mean, the cost of revenue almost tripled. Not really, but yeah, you get the gist. Anyway, that's financials. Really good EPS and revenue growth is the main takeaway there for the financials. We're going to go higher time frame to smaller time frame here on SMCI, so I'm going to be looking at quarterly candles. So here's the quarterly candles. Super high volume coming in first quarter 2024, and then we've had subsequent, 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's a whole year, and then we're on, the next two quarterly candles. So I do really like that. We see large increase in volume, and then I want to point out that in no world should this red candle have the same volume as this red candle. Yet that is the case. These two are almost the exact same volume prints here. Yet this candle has a long bottom wick and a small spread, and this one has a very large red spread. So that tells me institutions are not actually participating in this pullback, yet adding to it. So just going to draw on NVIDIA here for a quarterly reference. Obviously, NVIDIA 10x to their revenue pretty much year over year. Not calling for that to happen on SMCI, but the quarterly structure is there. You have your large increase in spread, your 3 pullback candles, and then you see what happens after. So I do really like this quarterly setup for SMCI, where you have that insane volume influx, and then you have for damn near like a year and a half of just consolidating within this, literally just within the spread, not even just the wick of this candle, of this quarterly candle here. We've just been consolidating within here. So that's why I really like it from the technical side. On the quarterly, I'm going to jump into the weekly now. A few things I really like about this weekly, just from a larger perspective. I really like that we see this nice run up in volume as price made its move from 27 all the way to highs of about 120. You see this very large increase in volume, and then on the subsequent pullback, so this pullback throughout here, you see volume decreasing throughout. So I do like to see that. So that's typically indicative of an accumulative range taking place, so institutions accumulating shares as we go, and then you see the volume and volatility subsiding or decreasing throughout the range. So I do really like that on the weekly. Pretty clear flat top base here, right around kind of right around 50, I would say. Now price was able to break above, but it clearly wasn't able to hold above on this weekly candle in February. Obviously, it knifed back through. So a little bit of a flat top base look here. If you're just going to draw these here, all relatively within this same zone. It's obviously not an exact science, but nice flat top base where we just keep rejecting 50. And then another thing to note is that this is an ascending, somewhat of an ascending triangle, so flat top ascending triangle chart pattern, which I do really like. A few things to note here. I was long on SMCI in case this flat top did break on the lower time frame. I will get to explaining why I don't believe that price or 50 will be broken within these next few weeks. Just for the time being, I'm anticipating some sort of move that'll break down below this trend line, recover, retest, and go. That's kind of what I'm expecting here for SMCI. So very short term, very like 3-4 week horizon, actually maybe into this earnings. Maybe it starts to get bearish into this earnings. We tank below, we tank below, reclaim, and go. I think that's very likely. I have traded that before, and very notably it was Carnival. So Carnival, very clear flat top base also. I was long Carnival within these candles where price had been rejecting, same thing as SMCI where you have that nice even number. It has that 20. You obviously have price going for a break, actually ultimately didn't even get there that time, gets here again, as this whole time price is contracting within this like ascending wedge flat top base. We see that price even opens below this trend line and is able to completely recover, and then this is the necessary action. There's your retest of the trend line right there. There's your retest and go, and then this is what imbalances the market to finally have price break that $20 level. So it's that false breakdown of the trend line before price is then able to, actually break that flat top base. So I'm kind of anticipating something very, very, very similar on SMCI. Given I wasn't sure if that false breakdown was coming. I'm a little more sure of it now that we've seen recent price action. So that's the case for SMCI on the technicals for the weekly and quarterly. I mean, if you start looking at some of these out of the money contracts for leaps, I mean, you just get some ridiculous numbers. I mean, honestly, I think deep out of the money calls are somewhat underpriced, given the nature of these moves that could take place. We get a nice bull run, SMCI can smash through 200 no problem in my opinion. So yeah, that's kind of the backdrop on what I'm anticipating on the long term for SMCI. I guess I'll focus on SMCI for the very, 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 very short term and why I was in calls already and now close them. It was primarily because price lost a key level, so I've been watching this reaccumulative zone, so I do like a lot of things about this. It just failed it up top here. So high volume gap up, obviously the volume bar is red, but you see the subsequent price reaction is a bullish move from 38 all the way to about 46, and it didn't really give up much of that. And then you see volume and volatility contracting, which is what I want to see. Zooming in even more here, we're making a structure outside of the range. I thought this was the range break. I entered on this candle within here. I did not want to see price break above the climax. So the climax being this red candle that set the upper and lower limits of the range. Obviously you see wicks below it, and that's why price subsequently tested the other side of the range. We do see price was able to gap up, and then it failed it the next day, and then it failed it again today. So that usually signifies some kind of test at the opposite end of the range. That's why I'm no longer in SMCI. I don't want to be in for this subsequent pullback. So, and that certainly could mean that price, even pulls back into this range, which I do not want to be in my short-term calls for that. So that's why I exited on the short term, and why I'm kind of thinking price is going to fail in the medium term, and then actually perform this action on the weekly. So that is the thesis for SMCI. I don't think it's going to be ready until post at least this earnings. Hopefully this earnings is bearish and we can absolutely load up. I think that would be a phenomenal time. But that'll probably do it for this video, just breaking down technicals and the financials of why I like SMCI.